recommendations. So this map overlays our roadkill data with our linkages data. And so, I mean, you can think like where there's a lot of red overlaying green, that's probably where the linkages aren't working very well, perhaps. So here and then up along Bishop's Ranch, and I'll actually zoom in on these real quick. So this one's Bishop's Ranch. So it seems like as animals are coming down from the mountains, maybe they use this, and there's not a lot of roadkill right there, so perhaps they are. But if they miss that, it seems like they're probably moving this way because there's a fence right there on that northern boundary, and they're getting hit right here. These are really small, and I don't think that a lot of animals are using those. This one, I want to point out the two sites, the Mesa Road connection and the 217. So again, lots of roadkill right here, but we have those linkages, and it's hard to say that maybe they're not using a lot of them. And then right here, these are so small and they're inundated with a lot of water most of the time of the year, so lots of animals are getting hit right there. And I'm actually these are missing linkages that I identified. So one of them being that 217 that I just pointed out. I really think that that's an important place for wildlife. Where's Valley? Moving from more Mesa to the areas like the slough and Cola Point. I think that's a really important spot, and I don't think that those linkages are doing a very good job for those animals. So these are pictures actually of, this is like the parking lot near Goleta Beach. So those animals, you can see it, it's right there. And we walked out there one day and there was a dead opossum right there on the road. So obviously animals are tracking and going right across the road. Right here, this is as you're leaving UC Santa Barbara, and if you're on that bike path that starts to curve to the right, there's a giant hole in the fence, and there's lots of animal tracks right there too, and we have roadkill in that same spot. So 217 is an important spot right there. I just thought this was a fun picture. And this is actually right between Hollister Road and Mesa Road on Los Carneros. And there's a couple holes in the fence, and it's just like the grass is all matted down. You can tell animals are trying to move between those spots along Los Carneros Road. So those are missing linkages. I would say there are some existing linkages that are there but need improvement. So this one is Stork Road right here. It's inundated with water a lot of the time. And all this data is available in our report. So I'm going to fly through some of these. Second one is Hollister Rio Grande oil in this area. This is the size of it. I think that this is a really important linkage right here, but I don't think a lot of large animals are going to be using that small of a culvert. The third one is, oh yeah, there's a couple along this area on the 101, but this linkage right here is totally blocked by boulders and the vegetation right here too, so it's not even functioning as a linkage. These other ones right next to it, it's kind of hard to tell, but this is actually a reflection. So there's this giant, it's really deep too, this giant pool of water that is at the entryway to these two linkages. So I'm perplexed as to how animals are actually moving in this area. I'll just do a couple more and finish up real quick. The last couple are here along Mesa Road. These are just really small. I mean, it's hard to say if animals are really even using some of those. So important ones that are there but could be improved, I think. And this is our last map I think I'm going to show you, but with our analysis we identified these four major landscape scale linkages. So the first one is that Bishop's Ranch connection. The second one is here along Mesa Road going into Cola Point. Fourth one is along the east entrance, and then this final one moving in and out of Elwood Mesa. So for our future research, I mentioned some of this stuff, but I think it's important to continue some of the roadkill patrols that we've done. It'd be interesting to deploy some camera stations out on these spots, but with how much human activity we have in them, I think they'd be vandalized and stolen very quickly. I'd like to perform more analysis with CircuitScape, and then lastly involve our local citizens like you all, nice people, and get everybody involved in this whole this whole project and this whole idea. And lastly, I emphasize future research because we also have to think about our youth in the area. And I think a lot of you and I have been getting in touch with each other about this exact thing, because I think that's the most important part, is we need to get our kids engaged and get our community out there. So this is actually just from a workshop that I did showing kids how to use these remote sensing cameras, and it was so much fun, and they really liked it. So I think that that's also an important step we need to take next. So with that, I'd like to say thank you and end with this fantastic quote by E.O. Wilson. The number one process that will take millions of years to correct is the loss of genetic and species diversity by the destruction of natural habitat. This is the folly that our descendants are least likely to forgive us. And with that, lots of references, and I'll take any questions.